Okay, so good day sa ating lahat. So last time, we discussed regarding the types of respirations, right? In the discussing of the respirations, we tackled about the types of respiration, that is anaerobic respirations and the aerobic respirations. So if we say aerobic respiration, there is a presence of the oxygen in the cell of the plants, involving the oxidations of glucose into the carbon dioxide, wherein there is a releasing of the energy. So how much or how many energy that released during the aerobic respiration in the cycle, or kaya in the normal cycle, or in the one cycle of the aerobic respiration, it produces of almost 36 adenosine triphosphate. Okay, that the aerobic respiration can also the source of the energy, wherein mas mataas ang energy that produces in the aerobic respiration than in the anaerobic respiration. Why? Because there is an absence of oxygen. So if there is an absence of oxygen, the release of the ATP is lesser, based on the types of the respirations, or based on the theoretical discussions. Okay, the anaerobic respiration also involved the what's you call glycolysis. Okay, so yan. So last time we discussed also the glycolysis, wherein about the sucrose producing a glucose, the fructose, and the UDP glucose. So from the cytosol. So the production of sucrose was found in the cytosol part of the cell. And then in the production of the glucose and fructose was found in the other parts, wherein located siya sa plastid and the chloroplast. Okay? So today, we will discuss about the alternative oxidations. So if we say alternative oxidations, this is an extra release of the energy, or extra release of energy in the cell of the plants, because considered that the alternative oxidation is an enzymes, okay? The enzymes that forms a part of electron transport. So in the transport of the electron, para mas ma-feel or kaya mas ma-visualize nyo anong ibig sabihin ng 1, 3, 4, and 2, and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, ito yung kanyang depict picture, wherein they are found in the intermembrane spaces. Okay? So this is so-called the matrix, wherein there is so-called the complex 1, that is the NADH dehydrogenase, the complex 2, that is the succinate dehydrogenase, the complex 3, that is the cytochrome complex, complex 4, that is cytochrome oxidase, and complex 5, that is ATP synthase. So meron din tayong ditong ubiquinone, wherein the ubiquinone is responsible in distributing of the different enzymes in the cell of the plants. Okay, so as we can see here, the ubiquinone also responsible in the production of what we call on the alternative oxidations. So the alternative oxidations also release an electron that use during the stress of our plants. Okay, so as you can see in the first cycle, yan, so nagre-release siya ng, or kaya nagdi-distribute siya sa quinone or sa ubiquinone. So the ubiquinone will produce an energy or an electron to another process. Okay, so nagre-release siya sa process ng 2, 3, 4, and 5. And at the same time, nagpo-provide siya sa tinatawag nating alternative oxidations. So saan nangyayari ang alternative oxidations? So nagkakaroon ng process of alternative oxidation that found in the mitochondria. Okay, they are found in the mitochondria. Okay? Because the alternative oxidation also serve as the terminal oxidase of the plant. Okay? They are the terminal oxidase of the plant mitochondrial electron transport chain. Okay? Ang ating AOX. So, alam nyo ba na ang AOX din or alternative oxidation controlling the respiration. So, kinokontrol niya ang release of oxygen during drought. Bakit? Kasi nga, once kasi na mayroong drought at mas mataas ang release ng oxygen, so it means, ang mangyayari doon, mas lalong mai-stress yung plants natin or mas lalo siyang mawawalan ng energy. So, the alternative oxidation also trap the process or release of respirations. And at the same time, siya din yung may control doon sa transport of oxygen. Okay? So, mas mataas ang respiration ng alternative oxidation or mataas yung release ng oxidations kapag flooded. Pero kapag drought, mas relax or something na tinatrap niya. Okay? So, yun. So, it controls the respiration during the drought to maintain the overall homeostasis. Okay? And enhance the plant lifespan. So, para mas matagal yung lifespan ng isang plants, they need to control the respiration rate. So, the respiration rate of the plants during drought is decreasing or mababa. And kapag flooded or kaya walang hangin or something na merong hypoxia or anoxis, mas mataas ang respiration rate. Okay? So, yun. That is the alternative oxidation rate. So, meron tayong tinatawag dito na cyanide. So, if the cyanide is added in the animal tissues, so kapag ang cyanide daw ay added sa animal tissue, yung ating cytochrome C oxidase is inhibited. Okay? It inhibit the cytochrome C oxidase when the cyanide is added in the animal tissue. So, a cyanide is a poison to our animals wherein once na nagkaroon ng combinations or something na merging of the cytochrome C oxidase, there is some na mangyayari. So, hindi makakahinga yung animals natin or something na matatrap yung aerated part ng animals natin na ang magiging outcome nun ay hindi na sila makakapagpahinga or hindi na sila makakahinga. Wherein the respiration rate quickly drops to less than 1%. Next, so the plant tissues display a level of cyanide-resistant respirations. So the plant tissue also release of what we call on the cyanide respiration, resistant respiration of up to 10 to 25%. Okay, during the alternative oxidation. So the alternative oxidation also, diyan din nanggagaling yung mismong cyanide resistant respirations. So the enzyme is responsible. So the enzyme responsible for this oxygen uptake has been identified as cyanide-resistant oxidase. So the oxygen releases by the alternative oxidation was resistant in cyanide. Okay? So of the plant mitochondrial electron transport that called alternative oxidase. Okay? So the alternative oxidase is the only component of the alternative pathway. So, ang alternative oxidase is an enzymes that is only component of the alternative pathway. So, dito. So, ang enzymes na present daw dito sa AOX natin is alternative oxidase. Okay? Ano ang ginagawa ngayon ni alternative oxidase? So, ang ginagawa ni alternative oxidase, catalyzes or enhancing the 4-electron reduction. So, ine-enhance niya daw yung pagbawas ng electron kasi yung 4-electron electron is ginagamit for the energy during the release of the oxygen to water. Yan. So yung 4-electron na yon, yun ay isang energy na kung saan yun yung ginagamit niya during the presence of water inside the cells or inside the plants. Especially kapag normal din yung kanyang oxidations, 4 din yung nire-release niyang energy. Okay, that is 4 electron. Pero kapag ang plants natin ay mas mababa sa 4 electron, ang nire-release in the alternative oxidations ay mas lalong hihina yung plants natin. Or something na hindi siya magpo-produce ng sugar for the development or something for food ng ating plants natin. So the normal electron produces for the release of energy and for the production of what we call on the ATP ay kailangan 4 na electron. Okay? So specifically, it inhibit by several compounds. So most notably is the salicylic or salicyl hydroxamic acid or the SHAM. So when electron pass to the alternative pathway, kapag ang electron daw, when electron pass to the alternative pathway from the ubiquinone pool, yan, the electron, this is the electron. When the electron pass the alternative pathway from the ubiquinone pool to site of proton. So dalawang proton daw ang magpapumping. Okay? Tingnan nyo dito. So dito sa ubiquinone, 'di ba, in every stages ng ating membrane or kaya in every stages like yung complex or in every complex nagkakaroon ng pumping. So kapag nagpump itong mismong part na ito, okay, kapag nagpump itong internal part ng ating cells, so there is a 4 hydrogen or electron produces. Pag nagpump naman itong complex 2, so walang release of hydrogen. Okay? So, ganun din itong complex 3. Once na nagpump, there is a production of 4 hydrogen molecule. So, sabi dito, the alternative from ubiquinone 2 pool, 2 sites of proton pumping. So, the complex 3 and the complex 4. Where is the complex 3? This is the complex 3 and this is the complex 4. As you can see, once na nag-pump, so the proton pumping are bypassed. So the 2 pool sites, so when the electron pass to the alternative pathway from the ubiquinone pool, 2 sites. So the 2 sites are the complex 3 and the complex 4. 2 sites of proton pumping are bypassed. So anong ibig sabihin nito? So the alternative oxidase will bypass the 3 and 4 complexes during the pumping. Kapag sinabi nating bypass, kahit hindi nire-require na mag-pump itong complex 3 and complex 4, the alternative oxidase will release energy or will release oxygen. Okay? Will release oxygen because there is no energy conservation site in the alternative pathway. So walang alternative or kaya walang conservation sites or walang energy conservation site sa alternative oxidations. So ang meron lang doon is the electron where it produces energy by their own. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin kasi dito, dito para mas maintindihan natin. Si complex 3 and complex 4, bago kasi pumunta sa kabilang complex, kailangan magkaroon ng pumping itong complex 3. Yun ay isang requirement para makapag-produce ng energy to pump the complex 4. Tama ba? And then, dito naman, hindi na nire-require ang pumping ni complex 3 at complex 4 para makapag-produce ng energy si AOX. Kasi meron na siyang extra energy wherein meron siyang 4 na energy. Okay? The 4 energy as released by the AOX without the need or kaya without the requirement na magpapump si 3 and 4. Okay? So, magbabypass siya dito. Saan na siya? So, ang next pumping na is sa complex 5. So lalabas na mismo. Okay? So si AOX will not direct or will not depend on the complex 3 and 4, but rather diretso na siyang lalabas. Okay? To release an energy. So no need for the complex 3 and complex 4. So free energy that would normally be conserved as ATP is lost as a heat. Yan. Sabi dito, because there is no energy conservation site in the alternative pathway between the ubiquinone and oxygen. So the free energy that would normally be conserved as ATP is lost. Okay? As a heat when electrons are shunted through the alternative pathway. Okay? So AOX will not depends on the complexes, but rather it releases automatically the energy coming from the ubiquinone. Ubiquinone. Next. So another one is the environmental effect in the respiration process. So our plants are experiencing of what we call on hypoxic and anoxic soil and also the flooded soil. So what do we mean by hypoxic? Kapag sinabi nating hypoxic, that is the conditions of reducing the availability of the oxygen in the soil. But there is some oxygen still present kapag hypoxis. So, nire-reduce niya lang yung availability ng oxygen, pero meron pa ring still available oxygen on this scenario that is hypoxic. Kapag sinabi naman nating anoxic, it means ay absent or no oxygen in the soil. So ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is in the soil. So last time, sabi ninyo, bakit kaya hindi kabilang ang water lily? So nakita naman natin na ang subject natin is field crop physiology. Diba? So automatic kapag field crop physiology, nakadirect lang tayo sa agronomic crop kasi ang major ninyo is agronomy. Okay? So yun yung isa na tignan natin. So kapag nag-e-example ako na about sa broadleaves, so automatic na broadleaves ng mga agronomic crops, not the broadleaves of the water lily or weeds or something. Okay? But mind you that the title of our discussions or our subject is all about field crop. So it means kapag field crop, it means ay about sa mga crops under agronomic crops. Okay? So, meron tayo ditong isang process. We're in inhibition of aerobic respiration. Anong ibig sabihin ng inhibition? So kapag sinabi nating inhibition, by the word is stopping. Stopping of aerobic respiration. So it means ay maglalak yung mismong respiration rate ng ating plants. So hindi siya nire-require na mag-release kasi nga inhibit. Okay? So ini-stop niya yung paghinga ng plants natin. Tingnan natin. Anong mangyayari kapag inhibition or kaya nag-stop ang air doon sa respirations? So alam nyo ba na karamihan ng mga plants natin, pag nangyari yon ay restricted mismo ang production ng food. So, tignan natin. So, most immediate effect of soil flooding on plants is decline in oxygen. So, kapag merong soil flooding, yan, sa plants natin, syempre, mababa ang oxygen concentration sa soil. So, walang oxygen. Okay? So, diffusion of gases in water is approximately 10 times slower than the air. Okay? Sabi niya, mas mababa daw ang diffusion ng gases kesa sa hangin. Siyempre, kapag tayo, meron tayong baso dito. And then, nilagyan nyo siya ng lupa or something na sands. Diba? Kapag nilagyan mo ng tubig yan or nagput ka ng tubig dyan, ano ang unang finifield or kaya ano yung unang finifield ng water? So ang finifield ng water, syempre kung saan yung spacing. yung pore spacing na tinatawag natin. So yung pore spacing ay diretso na yung water doon sa may mga bakanteng pore spacing. So sabi niya dito, mas nauuna or mas mataas ang diffusion ng air, mas mataas ang diffusion ng air natin kesa gases. So it means yung air field or kaya yung pore spaces or air spaces nung ating suns ay mas mataas mas mataas yung pagbawas ng hangin. Okay? So yung air field natin ang unang mafi-filled or kaya something na mapupuno. So ang hangin ay lalabas. Pero slower daw siya sa gases. So it means yung mga gases available doon sa loob ng mismong soil ay hindi mare-reduce kaagad or bababa kaagad. Kasi nga, they are formed as a gases. Kasi mas mataas ang molecule ng air kesa sa gases. So kapag mas mataas ang molecule, it means ay mas mataas din yung chance na mas mabilis yung kanyang diffusion. Kapag sinabi nating diffusion, mas mabilis ang pagbaba. Okay? Mas mabilis ang diffusion ng mas malalaki ang molecule kesa maliliit ang molecule. Higher or mas larger kasi ang molecule ng air kesa gases. Kasi kapag gases it is a form of chemicals, while yung air natin is a molecule wherein mas larger siya kesa sa gases. Ito kasi na-convert na into a chemical form yung ating gases. Okay? So, the oxygen supply from the soil therefore decreases. Okay? Yung oxygen supply daw sa loob, syempre kapag papasok na mismo yung oxygen sa loob, tinatrap siya ng tubig. So kapag tinatrap siya ng tubig, so nagkakaroon ng decreasing of aerobic root respiration. Okay? So nagkakaroon ng decreasing of aerobic root respiration. Anong ibig sabihin ng decreasing aerobic root respiration? Yung mismong roots, yan, yung mismong roots natin ay hindi makakapag-release ng or makakapag-intake ng oxygen. Okay? Hindi siya makakapag-intake ng oxygen. Okay? Paloob yan kasi kapag respiration, nag-i-inhale or kaya nagpapasok or nag-accumulate ng air. Kapag naman na photosynthesis, nagre-release or nag-absorb ng carbon dioxide, right? Sa process ng respiration kasi, kailangan or nire-require na ang plants natin mag-inhale or kaya mag-absorb ng oxygen through the process of respiration. So, kapag walang respiration or aerobic respiration, yung production ng ATP natin was freeze or restricted. Okay? Restricted ang production ng ATP. Okay? So, during the hypoxia, so ano na naman yung hypoxia kanina? Hypoxia, merong availability of oxygen. Okay? Meron pa ring availability ng oxygen even though ay merong flooding. So during the hypoxia, the pyruvate decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase was increases. Okay? Next, we have also the fermentations. So kapag sinabi nating fermentations, ito yung mga plants na kung saan ay nababad mismo sa tubig. So kailan nangyayari ang fermentation? Nangyayari ang fermentations natin kapag umabot na sa 12 to 24 hours yung flooding or yung tubig na na-stack mismo sa plants natin. So, naaamoy natin ang fermentation, example sana sa rice natin, di ba? Di ba ang rice natin, nire-require na kailangan puno ang tubig sa paddies. So, kapag papansin niyo, bakit kaya ang mga rice natin ay merong something na amoy na very acidic or kaya something na hindi siya kaaya-aya. So it means nasa process siya ng fermentations. So kapag ang plants natin, example sana, eto sana yung plants natin para mas maintindihan natin yung gases and air. Okay? Alam nyo ba, i-test nyo lang, ang plants kasi natin humihinga. Tama ba? So, ang plants natin humihinga. Tingnan ninyo or pansinin ninyo. Kapag fully air-filled ito or air-filled, water-filled ito or kaya babad siya sa tubig. And then, parang may makikita kayong parang maliliit na molecule ng tubig na parang bubbles na maliliit na parang tumataas doon sa tubig natin. Wherein para siyang Coke. 'Di ba yung Coke natin, pag nilagay mo sa baso, may tumataas na mga parang molecule na bilog. So, ganun din sa ating mga sa mga flooded area. Pagpapansinin niyo yung rice field natin na mayroong tubig, bakit kaya may mga tumataas na maliliit na molecule na parang bubble? So it means yun ay palatandaan na humihinga talaga yung plants. Okay? Humihinga yung plants natin. So mayroong mga molecule na tumataas. Okay? So when the insufficient oxygen reaches the site of respiration, such as seed germination, underwater, and submerged rhizome, ATP may produce through fermentative process. So kapag siya ay flooded area pa lang, restricted ang ATP. Pero once na nag-start na ang tinatawag nating fermentations or fermentation process, that's the start of producing of the ATP. Okay? So that is the start of producing the ATP. So the lactate tends to be product of fermentation. So ang product ng fermentation is the 2-lactation or 2-lactate. So ano yung involved na process for the fermentation? We have the glycolysis and the NAD+ regenerations. So in the glucose, it produces of what we call on the 2-ADP to release a 2-net2-ATP or 2-NAD+ to produce 2-NADH. So that is the process of the glycolysis. So kapag nagkaroon ng conversion of the 2-ADP and 2-ATP, so there is a process or kaya there is a release of what we call on 2-pyruvate. Okay? And another one, pwede namang mag-shortcut wherein the 2-NAD+ will release 2-NAD+ and the 2-NADH will release 2-NADH to produce of what we call on 2-lactate. That is the process of NAD+ regenerations. So para mas maintindihan natin, the glucose, yan, ito kasi ang pinaka-basic sa anaerobic respiration or sa walang hangin. The glucose will release of what we call on NADP to produce ATP or adenosine triphosphate. Once that the ATP was produced, NADH+ will release or kaya will reduce to become NADH through the process of dehydrogenase. Okay? So, after that, once na na-release ang NADH, there is a pyruvate. So, the pyruvate will produce ethyl alcohol or carbon dioxide and the lactate through the process or through the increase or through the process of the conversion of the NAD+ to NADH through the process of alcohol dehydrogenase. So kapag may sinabi diyang alcohol dehydrogenase, it means ay nag-release siya ng hydrogen, okay, to produce. So the NAD+ will release hydrogen to produce NADH. Okay? Ganon din dito, lactate dehydrogenase. So the alcohol dehydrogenase is an enzyme and the lactate dehydrogenase are enzyme producing lactate. And then the alcohol dehydrogenase enzymes that producing alcohol fermentation through the process of this enzyme. So saan nila nakuha ang alcohol fermentation or ethyl alcohol plus carbon dioxide? In the pyruvate. Okay? So, the ethanol is not inhibit growth. So it will not inhibit growth. So kapag ang na-produce natin ay ethanol, alcohol, doon sa mismong seeds, tignan nyo, kapag binabad nyo yung seeds doon sa tubig at aamuyin nyo, parang merong something na acid na maaamoy mo, di ba? So it means meron siyang process or nandun siya sa process of fermentations. So kapag ang seeds ay or kaya yung mga seedlings natin ay may na-release or kaya ang nag-ferment doon ay ethanol or through the alcohol dehydrogenase, it will not inhibit a growth. And then it can cause flooding, injury to roots and shoots. So seeds of most special fail to germinate. So nagkakaroon ng failure in the germination under the anoxia. Okay? Except the rice. So karamihan ng mga seeds daw natin, pag nasa anoxia or kaya nakaka-experience sila ng anoxia, the seed will fail in germination except the rice. So rice seed can germinate anaerobically by means of coleoptile elongations. Okay? So ginagamit kasi ng seeds natin or kaya nagpo-produce muna yung seeds natin or ng rice seeds natin ng coleoptile elongations through anaerobically germinations. So anong ibig sabihin ng anaerobically germinations? Ito ay ibinabad muna sa tubig and after na ibabad sa tubig ay nilagay sa may chamber upang makapag-germinate. So this is mediated through coleoptile rather than root emergence. So hindi ka agad-agad roots ang ine-emerge ng ating rice, kaya nga very successful or successive yung kanyang germinations. So ang unang-unang nagpo-produce kasi, as you can see dito, the coleoptile rather than the roots. Okay? So once na nakapag-produce na ng coleoptile, that's the time na magre-release na siya ng roots. So, a secondary effect, so in the cytosolic acidosis naman, a secondary effect of the decline in root respiration and ATP production under anoxia is decrease in pH. So kapag dalawang beses daw or kaya dalawang beses na nagkaroon ng flooding, so in root respiration and ATP production under anoxia is decrease in pH. So bumababa ang alkalinity and acidity ng isang soil of the cytosol due to to accumulate of the organic acids in fermentation and TCA cycle. So yung sinasabi niyang decrease in pH, hindi ito sa soil, kundi doon sa mismong seeds or sa plants natin. So the acidification of the cytosol reduces the activity of many cytosolic enzymes whose pH is 7. So cytosolic acidosis also reduces the functioning of the aquaporins, thus restricting water transport. So cytosolic acidification is less in the presence of nitrate. So the nitrate kasi is the reduction required o kaya nitrate reduction require the oxidation. So nire-require muna ang oxidation para makapag-produce ng NAD. Okay? So kapag ang NAD naman, NAD+, nire-require na magkaroon ng synthesis para makapag-produce ng NADH. So dapat magkaroon ng synthesis of the hydrogen para makapag-produce ng NADH. So kapag nagkaroon ng oxidation ng NADH, it will produce NAD+. Okay? Next. So, ito yung itsura ng ating Aerenchyma formations. So, this is the avoiding the hypoxia or strategy ng plants natin during the hypoxia experience or kaya hypoxia process ng ating plants, experiencing by the plants. So, we have the Schizogenous Aerenchyma and the Lysogenous Aerenchyma. Kapag sinabi nating Schizogenous, bilog yung mga structure. Okay? Yes, sir. So, merong strategy yung plants natin upang sa ganon ay mas malabanan niya or something na ma-inhibit niya yung stress doon sa effect ng flooding natin. So that is so-called the Aerenchyma formation. Aerenchyma is a part of the plants wherein, as you can see, ito sana yung puno or the stem of the plants, and then may makikita kayong parang bilog. That is the Aerenchyma. Okay? Wherein, ito yung fini-field or kaya yan yung daanan ng hangin or that is the air spaces. So magkakaiba ang mga parts or kaya magkakaiba ang shape ng Aerenchyma. Merong bilog and merong mga straight or ganito. Okay? So yan. So Aerenchyma is a continuous system of air spaces in the plant that allow diffusion of the oxygen. So inaalaw ng Aerenchyma doon sa pag-diffuse ng mga oxygen from the shoot or the air to the roots. So merong Aerenchyma sa roots, merong Aerenchyma sa mga stem natin, meron ding Aerenchyma doon sa mga leaves natin. Okay? So that part is providing an air spaces para mag-allow ng pag-release ng oxygen. So the plants adapted to flooded, example sana, Oryza sativa, Pragmatis australis, and Glyceria maxima develop a flooding-induced oxygen barrier in basal root zones, thus reducing a radial oxygen loss. So as you can see, meron tayong mga plants na ang defensive mechanism nila, once na nagkaroon ng airfield or kaya water field, itong mga pore spaces na nandoon sa Aerenchyma natin, merong strategy yung plants natin, especially kapag sa rice. Okay? Or kaya sa corn. Example, meron tayong mga plants na kung saan ay kapag fully flooded sila or kaya merong hypoxia process or kaya hypoxia experiencing by the plants, ang nangyayari dito, example, doon sa sugarcane, di ba? Ang sugarcane natin, once na yung mga roots ay filled by water, meron silang kakayahan na mag-produce ng new roots based doon sa presence of nodes. Diba? Ganyan yung ginagawa nila. Ganon din sa mga corn natin. Bakit kaya nagpo-produce sila ng roots above the water level or above the soil level? Okay? Ginagamit nila yon to as a barrier or kaya as a zones for releasing of an oxygen even though submerged ito ng tubig. Okay? So, yun yung ginagawa nila. So, itong mga plants naman na flooded conditions develop a flooding-induced oxygen barrier. So, merong oxygen barrier doon sa root zones. Pero kung hindi nila kaya ito, another strategy is to produce roots in the node part ng ating grasses, especially sa mga sugarcane natin. Okay? So, Aerenchyma also serve as the conduit of soil gases to the atmosphere, including methane, ethylene, and carbon dioxide. So, it's a bacterial product commonly produced anaerobic soils. So, the methane production and transport to the atmosphere is great concern because the methane is a greenhouse gas that absorbs infrared radiation. So, kapag ang Aerenchyma natin ay nasa anaerobic soil or nasa anaerobic condition siya, mas mataas ang production ng methane. Ang methane kasi is kapag produce yan ng crop natin, isa siya sa nagiging problem doon sa greenhouse gas natin. Kaya nga, kapag ang rice ay fully submerged sa tubig, mas mataas ang production niya ng methane. Bakit? Kasi nga, nasa condition siya ng anaerobic. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating anaerobic, ito ay walang hangin. And especially kapag compact ang soil. So the expansion, so ginagamit niya ang Aerenchyma. So the part of Aerenchyma is responsible in the production of the methane or the carbon dioxide, ethylene, and others. Okay? So that is a gas. Okay? Kaya nga sabi kanina, bakit kaya sabi doon na mas mataas or mas faster ang pagbaba nung tubig ay ng air kaysa sa gases. Bakit kaya mas mataas sa tubig or sa hangin? Mas mataas ang tawag doon, mas mataas ang release or something na mafulfilled or mawawala ang ating air kaysa gases. Kasi gases is a form of chemicals producing methane, ethylene, or a carbon dioxide. So ito ay nire-release ng plants natin 10,000 faster, okay, than the air. Kasi yung air natin is a molecule, mas malalaki na molecule na kung saan ay mabilis lang siyang mawala kapag ifo-fulfilled siya ng water kesa sa ating methane. Kasi ang methane, they are present in the Aerenchyma. So kapag present siya sa Aerenchyma, so matagal ang release niya. So magkakaroon lang ng release kapag merong hypoxia. Okay? So the expansion of rice agriculture and associated CH4 transport via Aerenchyma from the soil to the atmosphere is an important contributor to atmospheric CH4. So napakabigat ito na ang CH4 natin or ang methane natin ay isa pala sa nire-release ng rice. Kaya wag na tayong mag-produce ng rice. Wag na tayong magtanim ng rice. And ang isa pa, ang Department of Agriculture ay meron ng mga upland rice. Tama ba? So karamihan kasi sa atin, mga lowland rice tayo eh. Pero kapag upland rice, mas mataas ang aerobic, so mas mababa ang CH4 production. Pero kapag may tubig, ang rice field natin, mas mataas ang release ng methane. So kapag mas mataas ang release ng methane, ng carbon dioxide, it can contribute to the atmosphere, especially in the greenhouse. Kasi pagtanda ng mga plants natin, as you can see pag mas mataas or mas malalaki ang pore spaces during at the maturity ng crops natin kesa sa seedling. Okay? So mas mataas ang pore spaces pag mas malawak ang Aerenchyma, mas malalaki ang Aerenchyma, mas mataas din ang production. Okay? Next. So yun ang about sa discussions natin about sa Aerenchyma cells. If you have any questions regarding sa discussions, pwede naman kayong magtanong mamaya or kaya magtanong during our classes. Okay? So i-discuss ko via online din ang isang topic natin. So hintayin nyo lang. So thank you very much and God bless.